Hello everyone, welcome. Today we will learn Mohr circle, which is a powerful graphical method to solve the problem of transformation of plane stress. In our previous class, we have studied the transformation of plane stress considering these analytical formulas, and using these formula we can calculate the normal stress, shear stress, principal stress as well as the maximum shear stress. Instead of remembering this formula, we can also calculate all these stresses using the Mohr circle approach. So let's start and first see that how this Mohr circle look like. So Mohr circle is created on two orthogonal axes. One axis represent the normal stresses and the other axis represent the shear stresses. For example, for a general transformation of stress problem, we have a stress element. On this stress element, we have two normal stresses, let's sigma x and sigma y, as well as a shear stress. So for making the Mohr circle, these two normal stresses are pointed out on the normal stress axis. So it is not the case that you will make sigma x here and sigma y here. No, not at all. In case of making Mohr circle, both the normal stresses will come on this horizontal axis. Similarly, when we see the stress element, there will be two sets of couple acting because of the shear. One is clockwise in sense, another one will be in the counterclockwise in sense. So here for the positive side we make clockwise shear, and for the negative side we consider the counterclockwise shear. Similarly, in case of this horizontal axis which is representing the normal stress, if my normal stress is tensile, I will make it on the positive side. If it is of compressive nature, I will make it towards the negative side. Now based on this assumption, first what we do, we consider the stress value on the x and y axis, and then we create a circle. So let's see that if you are having the stress value, how you make the Mohr circle. Once you will understand the construction of Mohr circle, later on we will see that how we can find the different stresses. So first start with a very simple problem. Here I am showing the first problem which is having only one type of stress, that is your normal stress and acting in the x direction. For the given case, my sigma y is 0 as well as the shear stress is also 0. So for this case, let's try to make the Mohr circle. As we have seen, the horizontal axis is representing the normal stress and the vertical axis is representing the shear stress. So for the given case, I am having one normal stress of magnitude 50, and as Mohr circle is a graphical method, that means you are going to construct the Mohr circle on a graph paper, and there you have to consider a scale. For example, let's assume that this 1 centimeter distance on the graph is equivalent to 10 megapascal. So for the given case, if my stress is of 50 megapascal, I am going to consider a point here at a distance of 5 centimeter, but actually it is going to represent the 50 MPa, or I can say that this is my sigma x at this point. Now what about the second normal stress? As it is 0, I am going to put the second point at the origin because I don't have any sigma y. What about the shear? There is no shear, so there will not be any position on the vertical axis. That means these 2 points are going to produce the Mohr circle. So let's consider that this is my point A and this is my point B, and considering these 2 points as the diameter of Mohr circle, I will first mark the center of these two of this line. That would be the center of Mohr circle, and then I will construct my Mohr circle. Similarly, if I will see the second problem, in the second problem the normal axis act along the x direction is 0, that means my sigma x is 0, but sigma y is given, and you can see that the nature of the normal stress acting on this toss surface is arrow moving towards the body, that means it is of compressive nature. So I can consider that my sigma y is of magnitude 30, nature, compressive, no shear stress. Let's try to construct Mohr circle taking only sigma y on the body. So sigma x is 0, that means one stress will be at the origin, and let's make it at sigma x. As sigma y is minus 30, that means we are going to make it on the negative side, which represent the compressive stress, and the positive side represent the tensile stress. So somewhere here, let again consider a scale that 1 centimeter is going to represent the 10 megapascal, and let this is at a distance 3 centimeter from the origin, so this would be my sigma y and magnitude 30. Using these 2 points, since there is no shear, using these 2 points I am going to construct a circle, and that will represent my Mohr circle. Similarly, if I have combination of two stresses, for example in the third case I am having a shear stress of magnitude 40 and a normal stress acting along the x direction, that is of magnitude 50, but no x stress acting on the top surface, so my sigma y is 0 here. When I'm starting making my Mohr circle, first I will make my horizontal normal stress on the normal stress axis, so it will be, let's my 50 point. Sigma y is 0, so second point will be here, but as we are having shear, we are also going to consider the shear on this vertical direction. So for the first phase, which is my vertical phase, I am noting it that my sigma x is acting on this phase, and for this phase the shear is having a counterclockwise sense. You can see here that this upward arrow and the equivalent of this will be on the other side, and these two arrows are going to make a couple which is acting in the counterclockwise direction. So the shear acting on the vertical face is actually represented by a counterclockwise couple on my Mohr circle axis. So shear will be minus 40 for the sigma x value. So this is my sigma x. From here I will make a downward line, and that will finish at a point where I am having a value 40. Similarly, for the sigma y plane, where I will have normal stress, but actually in the given case sigma y is 0 but shear is there, so we can find the sense of this shear, and we know that the shear stress always act in the complementary form. So one is counterclockwise, then definitely other will be clockwise, and you can see here that the sense of these two shear stress arrows are actually generating a clockwise couple. So I'm going to produce a vertical line, and that is of again the 40 value. As we know that for the shear, the top is the clockwise and bottom is the counterclockwise sense. So now I have 2 points, one let's say point A, another is point B, and now these 2 points are going to consider as the diameter of Mohr circle. So I am going to join these 2 points, and keeping this line as the diameter, and the intersection of this line with the horizontal axis will be the center of Mohr circle. So I will create a circle considering AB as the diameter, and that will be my Mohr circle. If I will replace the sigma x with another value of sigma y, so in the given case I am having a sigma y of magnitude 30 but compressive, there is no sigma x, that is 0, and I am having a shear, but this time I have reversed the sense of my shear. That means for the top surface the shear is having a sense of counterclockwise, and for the this vertical face the shear is acting in the clockwise sense. So let's try to make our Mohr circle. My sigma x is 0, so this would be at the origin. My sigma x is of 30 but the compressive, so I have to make it on the negative side. Let this is my sigma y. Now for the vertical face, which is represented by stress sigma x, the shear is acting in the clockwise direction. So I have to make a line in the vertical direction, because the upward positive side is clockwise and the negative side is counterclockwise. So this would be for value 40. Similarly, for the face, top face, where we are having sigma y, the shear is acting in the counterclockwise sense. So I will make a line in the downward side, that will also of magnitude 40, and now these 2 points are going to serve as the diameter of my Mohr circle. So this is A and this is B. This would be the center of the Mohr circle, and this would be my Mohr circle. If I am having all the stresses acting on my stress element, For example, in this case, I am sigma x is of plus 50, sigma y is of minus 30, as well as I am having shear, and I can see here that for the top surface the shear is acting in the clockwise sense, and for this vertical face it is acting in the counterclockwise sense. So let's make my sigma x and sigma y both will be on this horizontal line. So let this is at 50 value and this is at 30 value. So this is representing sigma y, this is my sigma x. Now let's make the shear for the vertical face which is corresponding to sigma y. My shear is clockwise, so I am going to make a vertical line here, and that will be for value 40. Similarly here I will have a downward line, and that is also corresponding to 40 value, and these 2 points will be actually on the circle, or I can say that this line AB will be the diameter of my Mohr circle. And keeping this center C, I will create a circle. Similarly, if we are having a very special case where only we have shear stress, no normal stress, that means my sigma x is 0, sigma y is 0, and only I am having my shear stress, then how the Mohr circle will look like? In this case, the origin will have both sigma x and sigma y. What about the shear? For the sigma x phase, the shear stress is acting in the counterclockwise phase. So for the sigma x, I will make a line in the downward side, and let the magnitude is 40, so it will be 40. Similarly, for the top phase where we have sigma y, the shear stress is in the clockwise sense. So I'm going to put a line in the upward side of magnitude 40, and these 2 points will become the diameter of my Mohr circle. So this would be my Mohr circle for this special case. So I hope that you have understood that how to construct a Mohr circle. After understanding the construction of Mohr circle, let's try to understand that if we have a constructed Mohr circle, how to identify different stresses. For example, I am having a problem where all the stresses are presented, and I have already constructed the Mohr circle. So this is my Mohr circle for the given problem, and I am interested to find the normal stress as well as the shear stress on this oblique plane. Let's A dash B dash. So this is my Mohr circle which I have created considering my sigma x, sigma y as well as the shear stress. So this point is corresponding to sigma y, this point is corresponding to sigma x, and this vertical line is corresponding to my xy shear stress. In case of Mohr circle, all the points of the Mohr circle is corresponding to a stress value of an oblique plane of the original system. That means if I am having an oblique plane A dash B dash here at an angle theta, there will be a point which is representing the normal and shear stress of this plane. So our job is to identify that point. For identifying that point, the first thing is that we have to make a position that will be of angle 2 theta. So please remember, whatever measurement we consider for the original system in the Mohr circle, we have to double it. That means AB is counterclockwise direction from the vertical face with an angle theta. Here it will be with angle 2 theta, and which will be my reference line. So this AB is the line which we from where we started the Mohr circle. So this AB would be my reference line, and considering this AB, I will make an angle in the counterclockwise direction representing the 2 theta value. And from this I will make a line that will cut the Mohr circle at this point, and this point is actually representing the A dash B dash plane, and the coordinates of this point represent the value of normal stress as well as the shear stress. So if I will make a vertical line, it will cut my horizontal line which is the normal stress line at this point. So the magnitude of the normal stress is representing the value of normal stress on this oblique plane. Similarly, if I will make a horizontal line, this horizontal line will cut my shear stress axis at certain value, and that is going to represent the shear stress on the oblique plane. That means if you want to find stresses on any oblique plane, we have to represent that plane on the Mohr circle with angle 2 theta, and here we have considered the counterclockwise position of this oblique plane. So we here also we are going to make counterclockwise rotation with 2 theta, and then we will make this line which will cut my Mohr circle at this point, and this A dash B dash plane is actually corresponding to this point. Similarly, if I will have another plane, and let this is my another plane, and it is having angle theta phi from the vertical side. So here this angle is actually in the clockwise sense, but we have always considered the angle from the vertical direction and in the counterclockwise sense. So if I want to calculate my angle which I am going to represent on my Mohr circle, I will consider this vertical side and I will measure this angle. So actually in my case, my theta will be what? My theta will be 180 minus this phi. For example, this phi is of 45 value. So for my case, my theta will become what? 180 minus 45, that will be 135. And when I will represent this plane, let this is plane C and D. So the CD plane on the Mohr circle will have angle 135 into 2, that means 270. So I will again make a plane which is at 270 degree from my AB line. So I will start making an angle that will be here, and this would be the position, and this angle will be 270 degree. So this point is going to represent the CD plane, and corresponding to this plane, if this is the normal stress, so I can consider that this normal stress will be on this CD plane. Similarly, this is my shear, so this shear will be there on this CD plane. When I will take a numerical problem, you will have more clarity. So this is all about making the normal and shear stress on any oblique plane. Our second job is to find the position of principal plane as well as the magnitude of principal stresses. We know that the principal stresses are actually the maximum or minimum normal stress. In case of Mohr circle, if you will try to find which point representing the maximum and minimum normal stress. So this is the normal stress axis, and if I will see carefully, these 2 points are actually representing what? These 2 points are represent, this is my minimum stress and this point is my maximum stress. So this point actually represent the sigma P1 and this is actually represent sigma P2. So these 2 points will represent the principal stresses. And where will be the position of your principal plane? Because when you have combined stress on a stress element, you can find a plane which will have angle theta p, and the theta p represent the maximum normal stress plane, or we also call it the principal plane. In case of Mohr circle, as we can see here, that the horizontal line actually representing the two principal stresses. So we have to measure this angle, and this will be considered as 2 theta p. Suppose this angle is coming out 60 degree. So my 60 degree will be 2 theta p, and theta p will be half of this value, that will be 30 degree. So the first principal plane which is corresponding to the maximum value is at 30 degree in my actual system. So I can represent this principal plane by taking 30 degree counterclockwise rotation, and I will find that this is my first principal plane. Similarly, if I will measure the minimum plane, I can again measure it, and this would be what? This would be actually 180 plus this angle. As I have considered this is 60, so the position of the second principal plane will be 180 plus 60, but that is 2 theta. So actually my angle will be 90 plus 30 or 120. We have already seen it in previous two classes when we have considered the analytical approach, that the two principal planes are orthogonal to each other, and as you have already defined that the first plane will be 30 degree, next will be just 90 ahead, or it will be at 120 degree. So I can also represent the second plane, and these two plane will have 90 degree angle, and in my case I always measure the angle in the counterclockwise direction, so my angle will be here, that this angle will be 120 degree. So in this way I can identify the two principal stresses as well as the two position of the principal plane. Now the last case, that is the maximum shear stress. In case of maximum shear stress, we have to see these two top and bottom point, because this is our Mohr circle. This axis is representing the normal stress and it is representing the shear stress. So top two points are corresponding to the maximum shear value. So these two points are actually corresponding to maximum value, and this is also maximum, and this is counterclockwise and this is for clockwise. And where is the position of your maximum shear stress plane? So this line is actually representing the maximum shear stress plane. Here we have to measure the angle again from this our baseline, that is our AB line, and my position of the maximum shear stress plane will be represented by this angle. So this will be my 2 theta s. Suppose this angle is of 140 degree, so my theta s will become 70 degree. So in my actual system, the position of the maximum shear stress plane will be in the counterclockwise direction, and the magnitude of this angle will be theta s. Similarly, as we have seen, there will be two principal planes. Here also we will have two maximum shear stress plane. One is corresponding to this point, other will be corresponding to this point, and the angle between these two planes will be 180 degree in the Mohr circle. So in the actual system it will be half of this value and the 90 degree. Once I will calculate the theta s. Second will be just 90 degree ahead, so here one is 70 degree, so next one will be 70 plus 90, that will be 160 degree. So here I can make one plane which is 160 degree from this vertical line, so it will be somewhere here, and I can say that this would be my second shear stress plane, and the two shear plane will again have 90 degree angle with respect to each other. The last thing, as we have already seen in the previous classes, that the angle between the principal plane and the maximum shear stress plane is 45. So here also you can identify that in the Mohr circle, the principal plane is corresponding to this horizontal line, and the maximum shear stress plane is corresponding to this vertical line, and the angle between two is 90 degree. So in the Mohr circle it is 90 degree. Actual system it will be half of this value, so that will be at 45 degree. So with this I will take 2-3 numerical problems, so that we will understand in a better way that how to identify different points and then interpret the results. So again, here let's start with a very simple problem. In this case we are having only sigma x, sigma y is 0 and shear is 0, and we have to find the normal stress on this oblique plane, let a dash b dash. In addition to this, we have to find the position of principal plane as well as the magnitude of principal stresses. Similarly, we have to find the magnitude of maximum shear stress. How we will do so? First, we have to construct the Mohr circle, and we know that this is my normal stress corresponding to 50. So on the graph paper, let's say this is 10 megapascal. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, this point will corresponding to my sigma x of magnitude 50. My sigma y is 0, so this would be my sigma y. Is there any shear? No. Then this line AB will become the diameter of my Mohr circle, and this would be my Mohr circle. Once you construct the Mohr circle, your next job to find the normal stress for an oblique plane at an angle 30 degree in original system. So we know that in Mohr circle we have to consider 2 theta, that means we have to uh, indicate a plane at an angle 60 degree from your reference line. So in this case, as there is no shear, this horizontal line is my AB line, so I have to make first the center of the Mohr circle, which will be center of these 2 points, so it will be at 25, and I have to construct a line that is at an angle 60 degree from this in the counterclockwise direction. So this would be my plane A dash B dash, and I can measure the horizontal value that is representing the shear on this plane, and the vertical value, this it is going to represent the normal stress. So this normal stress is approximately coming out 10, 20, 30 and 40. It is close to the 40 value. So let's consider it's a 38 and positive tensile nature. That means the normal stress on this plane will be of approximately a value of 38. Similarly, my shear is in counter clockwise sense. And what would be the value? So in the given diagram, the value is between 20 to 30, or let's keep it at 25. And the sense is clockwise, and we know that the clockwise couple or the shear are shown with this downward arrow. So this is the shear stress on this oblique plane. If you want to cross check these stresses considering your analytical formula, so in the analytical formula you can recall that the normal stresses are represented by sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus sigma x minus sigma y by 2 cos 2 theta plus sine 2 theta. So here tau, no shear stress, so this would be 0. There is no sigma y, so it will go away. And when I will put sigma x as 50, I will get that sigma normal is coming out 37.5 megapascal. And in Mohr circle, you are also getting a value which is close to this value. That means if you will actually consider a graph paper, your answer will be very close to the actual value. Now, if you want to find the principal stresses, we have already checked that the two extreme points of the circle will represent the principal plane. So in this case, these 2 points will be corresponding to the two principal stresses. So my sigma P1 will be 50 and sigma P2 will be 0. What is the position? As this is just coinciding with the AB line, that means the theta P is also 0. What about the maximum shear stress? So this top point and this bottom point is corresponding to the maximum shear value. And this line is actually representing the position of maximum shear stress plane. And here we can see that this angle is 90 degree. That means in the actual system, it will be of 45. So a plane which is of 45 degree from this vertical line is actually representing the maximum shear stress plane. And the magnitude of maximum shear stress, so we can find it on our graph paper, and this value will be corresponding to maximum shear stress value. Similarly, let's try to solve these two problems. Here we are having two stress, sigma x is 50, sigma y is 0, and my shear is of magnitude 40, and I can see that for the vertical face it is of counterclockwise sense, and for the top face it is of clockwise sense. So let's try to make these point and try to construct the Mohr circle. Sigma x is 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So let's say this is my 50 or sigma x. Similarly, sigma y is 0, so it will become my sigma y. Now what about the shear? For the top surface which is corresponding to sigma y, it is of clockwise sense. So I will make a vertical line 10, 20, 30, 40. So this will represent 1 point. For the vertical face which is corresponding to sigma x, the shear is of counterclockwise sense. So I will make it a downward line of 40, and this would be my second point. So now I have diameter of my Mohr circle. I will make a line. This would be the center of my Mohr circle, and we can see here that this is of 50, so it will be of 25. So this would be my Mohr circle, and these two extreme points will be corresponding to the principal stresses sigma P1 and sigma P2. The topmost point will be corresponding to your maximum shear stress, and bottom point is also representing the maximum shear stress. What about a plane which is at 30 degree? Let this is my A dash B dash plane. So again I have to consider AB as the reference line. I have to rotate it with an angle 60 degree in the counterclockwise direction. So I will find the position of my A dash B dash plane. Here I am not having exact value, so somewhere you will find this plane. This will be, let's 60 degree, and this would be the position of your A dash B dash plane. And once you find this A dash B dash, you can calculate the magnitude. You can find the magnitude of normal stress as well as the shear stress on this oblique plane. For the given case, the normal stress is positive, so it will represent by this line, but the shear stress is toward the counterclockwise direction, and we know the counterclockwise is represent with the upward arrow. So this would be my shear value, and this would be the normal stress value, and this would be the maximum shear stress value. For the same problem, if I have to find the stresses on an oblique plane which is having 30-degree but the clockwise rotation from this vertical side. In our convention, we always measure our angle from the vertical line. So for the given plane, the angle which we will consider for our Mohr circle will become 180 minus 30-degree, that is 150-degree. So for the Mohr circle, I have to make an angle which is of 2 into 150, that is of 300-degree in the counterclockwise direction from my reference line. So when I will locate a plane, this is just 180, then the 270 and some 300 here. So this would be my line which is going to represent the position of CD plane, and corresponding to this point I am having one normal stress here and I am having one shear stress here. So this would be the normal stress on this plane. This is also coming positive, so normal stress will in this direction, but the shear is coming out counterclockwise, so I know that the counterclockwise will be in this way. So this is my shear stress and the normal stress on an oblique plane, but the principal stresses and the maximum shear stress will remain same because this is the Mohr circle for this problem, which is 50 and only shear. If I am having all stress together on the body, so here is your problem where we are having all the stresses acting on our stress element. Our sigma y is compressive, so minus 10. My sigma x is tensile of magnitude 50, so it will be of magnitude plus 50. My shear on the top surface is in the clockwise sense, so the second shear will be complementary shear stress and having a sense counterclockwise. With these data, let's try to make the Mohr circle. But before I start the Mohr circle, the same problem we have solved in our previous class where we have considered the analytical formulation, and this was the result we obtained in the previous class. We have considered these different formulas to find the position as well as the magnitude of principal plane, maximum shear stress plane, as well as we have found the normal and shear stress for an oblique plane of angle 30-degree, and here are the answers. So normal stress was 69.4, the shear was -7, the principal plane position was 53.1. This was the magnitude of two principal stresses. This is the position of maximum shear stress plane, and this is the value of the maximum shear stresses. So here also let's try to construct the Mohr circle and try to find the different stresses. As I am having sigma x plus 50, let 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So this is my sigma x, my sigma y minus 10. So it will be somewhere here. Then for the top surface, my shear is clockwise. So I am going to make a line in the vertical direction of magnitude 40. Here I will have a line in the downward direction of magnitude 40. And I will join these two lines. I will find the center of the Mohr circle. So here please remember that the center of Mohr circle always have a coordinate that is sigma x plus sigma y by 2. Please remember it, and this is nothing but your normal stress value on the maximum shear stress plane. Please understand. When we have a Mohr circle, let this is my Mohr circle, the topmost point is corresponding to your maximum shear stress, and when you will draw a vertical line, it is going to join the center of your Mohr circle. So for your maximum shear stress plane, the normal stress is represented by the center of the Mohr circle. That means the center of Mohr circle represent the normal stress value corresponding to maximum shear stress plane. And what is the coordinate of Mohr circle? So you can calculate, you will always find the coordinate of the center of the Mohr circle always remains sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus, but please keep it in mind, here you have to consider the signs. In my case, the center of the Mohr circle will be what? It will be plus 50 minus 10 divided by 2, that means it will be at 30 megapascal, and you can cross verify here. This value is corresponding to minus 10, this value is corresponding to 50, so the total length will be 60 and the center will be half of 60, that means 30. So 30 from this and 30 from this. So here I will have the value, the center of the Mohr circle, that is corresponding to sorry, this would be 20 here, because 50 minus 10, so it will be 20, and the center of the Mohr circle is at 20 and 0. Once I have this AB line, I can construct my Mohr circle. So approximately this circle will represent my Mohr circle, and these 2 points are corresponding to your principal stresses. And you can see here, this is 50, this is 60, and approximately this point is corresponding to plus 70. Similarly, this is 10, so you can see that this point is corresponding to minus 30, and when you will cross check these two results from the result we obtained in our previous class, the two principal stresses are 70 and minus 30. Now what is the position of your principal plane? I have to measure this angle. This angle is corresponding to 2 theta p, and I will measure the angle and I will make half of this angle, so I will get the theta p, and you can cross check, it will be corresponding to the value of 53.1. Similarly, if I want to find the maximum shear stress, this top point is corresponding to maximum shear stress, and in the given case it is closely with at a value of plus 50. Similarly, this point is corresponding to a value which is minus 50. That means the maximum shear stress is plus minus 50, and you can find the position of maximum shear stress plane, and for that what you need to do, you have to measure this angle. This angle represents 2 theta s, and when you will measure this angle and make half of that value, you will get the value of maximum shear stress plane. Now the last thing, the oblique plane, which is at an angle 30 degree. So in the Mohr circle, it will be of the double value. So what I need to do here, I have to consider a 60-degree angle, and I have to construct a line at an angle 60 degree, and I will find a point here, and this point will represent the value of my A dash B dash plane. And here this would be corresponding to your normal stress, and this would be corresponding to your shear stress. And you can see here this line is close to 70, let's say 69, and this point is close to 10, so let's take 8 something. So that means the normal stress on the plane is around 69, and shear stress is in counterclockwise sense and magnitude 8. So counterclockwise means we have to make it in this way, upward way. So this is my shear, and the magnitude is correspond approximately 8 value. So you can cross verify our answers. The value of normal stress and shear stress are 69.4 and 7. So these two values are almost close to the actual value. Similarly, the principal stresses are 70 and 30, and your maximum shear stress is 50. So we have seen that Mohr circle is a powerful graphical tool which avoid remembering the long formulas which we have seen in our previous classes, and by making the Mohr circle you can calculate all stresses which is required for the transformation of plane stresses. Now before closing this session, let's take a very special case that has many times asked in the exam, and that is corresponding to the hydrostatic loading. Now what is hydrostatic loading? If you are having a body in the depth of sea, the body will be subjected to equal pressure from all the directions. So if I will consider a two-dimensional stress element of this body, it is going to be subjected by the compressive pressure from all the direction, and there will not be any shear. So if I will try to make a Mohr circle for this given case, my sigma x will be minus p, my sigma y will again minus p, and there is no shear. So when I will try to locate this on my x and y axis, this is normal and this is shear. Both sigma x and sigma y will be at a point of magnitude minus p here. And as there is no shear, I will not be able to make any vertical line. That means in case of hydrostatic loading, the Mohr circle is a point only, and a point towards the compressive axis. If you will recall in analytical class that what would be the principal plane. So all planes will become principal plane, and the magnitude of your principal stress will again be minus p. That means in case of hydrostatic loading, please remember this standard result. Mohr circle will be a point, all planes will be principal plane, the magnitude of principal stress is minus p, There will not be any shear maximum shear stress plane, as all the planes are principal plane, and we know that the shear value for the principal plane is always 0. So there will not be any maximum shear stress plane. All the planes will have equal stress value, that is corresponding to minus P, or the maximum normal stress value. So with this note, I am closing the topic of Mohr circle, and I hope that you have understood how to construct a Mohr circle and how to find different stresses by making a Mohr circle. Thank you.